This episode of the This Week in XR podcast is brought to you by our friends at Zapper. Zapper's XR Pioneers Conference is back on October 11th for its third year. And once again, you can learn how to take your business from ordinary to extraordinary using immersive technologies. Zapper's free user conference brings together thousands of designers, developers, marketers, and strategists to take their work to the next level. They have a great conference lineup, including a This Week in XR special, where myself and Roni will be hosting a one-off panel featuring former head of XR at Disney, John Snoddy, and Zapper CEO Casper Theikier. We'll be covering the past, present, and future of the wonderful world of XR. Through real-world examples, we'll share how people are using XR to change the way they communicate across their marketing, packaging, learning, training, and development to drive better results. Discover how to take advantage of the XR tools of the future and propel your business in a new era of growth and engagement. Carving out just a little time in your day to tune in live will give you access to exclusive sessions, industry deep dives, workshops, and technical demonstrations, giving you access to some of the biggest names and brightest minds in the industry. Save your spot now for October 11th and register at zapper.com/XR.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, September 15th. I'm Charlie Fink with Ted Chilowitz and Roni Abovitz for This Week in XR. We have a great guest this morning, Anna Belova. She is the founder and CEO of Devar. They have a number of initiatives, including My Web AR, a free AR effects generator for smartphones. So look forward to hearing more about her business. I've known her for about 7 years, and she is a relentless entrepreneur and a great role model for anybody who's seriously thinking about starting a company, because you don't get rich quick. Right, Roni?
You don't do it to get rich.
Well, and speaking of that concept of relentless entrepreneurs, I've been listening to another podcast, not ours, called Huberman Lab, out of I don't know if you guys have listened to it, but a friend of mine recommended it to me over the weekend. And there's a really interesting interview with Mark Andreessen that he does. And Andreessen talks about the concept of entrepreneurs learning to like the taste of blood in their mouths from just being punched over and over and over again and knocked down over and over and over again by people that don't want your concept, don't want your product, don't believe in you, don't believe in your team. And the entrepreneurs that succeed are the ones that just learn to like getting knocked down over and over again and getting back up. Would you agree?
Can I reinforce how true that is? Everyone should go back and watch the original Rocky movie, the original Stallone movie, where he is simply bloodied to a pulp, but refuses to die, refuses to quit. And you know, if you look at Apollo Creed, just like bewildered, like this guy just won't die. He just won't stop. And he's just taking it. That's you as a founder. If you want to do it and you're willing to get punched in the face that many times, he is right. You have to learn to love the taste of that. And I think there's a kind of strange neurologic damage that happens to you as a founder, because look, that relentlessness that you're talking about, Charlie, you have to have you're almost like the pit bull that never lets go. Even if you cut the body away from the head, it's still going, you know, like that's a founder.
And do you guys know the original web domain for what became Amazon, Amazon.com? Do you know what Jeff Bezos' initial name for his company was? Want to take a guess?
Mississippi?
Relentless.com. That was his domain. And if you type in relentless.com, Roni, do it right now, or the listeners do it right now at home. Type in relentless.com and see where it redirects you to Amazon. He still owns it.
I love that. That is a very
there it is. Here's my Amazon homepage.
He still owns it. Relentless.com.
That's
right.
Awesome.
Well, in the spirit of fun, one of the top stories this week was that a UFO hunter brought into the Mexican Congress 2 little coffins, which contained mummies that looked like E.T. And apparently they were discovered in the Andes and someplace near Cusco. And so they've had them since 2017. Supposedly there's some controversy about their DNA.
Are we really going here? Are we?
Wait. Here's the part I know that you'll love, Roni. At the same time, NASA announced that they're going to take UFOs more seriously, and they've appointed a chief investigator, but the identity of the chief investigator is going to be a secret to protect them from harassment. Roni is playing with AR effects in the Zoom. He's got butterfly eyes.
There we go. This is in honor of this topic. Yeah.
In all seriousness, I'm a guy that wants to believe, right? I have to imagine you guys are too. Watch the documentaries, watch all the cheesy stuff. But I'm one of those guys that believes statistically there's got to be another place in this vast
it's just you're substituting a belief in God, that's all.
Yes, I just want to believe so bad. And little miniature coffins with little miniature aliens is just the most adorable thing ever.
Can I say this? If you're going to do something that ridiculous, like hire Weta Workshop and build really good-looking aliens.
Right, exactly. Why do you base your alien on ET?
This is like high school paper mache stuff. Go build like Weta can build a damn good alien or Lucasfilm or something. Like if you're gonna present it to the Mexican government, like go all the way, spend a couple million, and then oh wow, they look real, but don't give us the cheesy garbage weekly world news crap.
I wish it wasn't Mexico. I have to say, I wish it was the U.S. or some other Western, advanced Western country, although I guess Mexico is. So I don't know. They must have nut jobs in their government as well to even let that happen. And of course, it's been percolating in the news cycle because the little ET pictures, they look just like the ET for the movie.
But it's going to be sad.
ET did not go home.
Charlie, what'll be sad is at some point on a Mars or something, we'll discover like a little tiny squid-like alien thing, like a few cells, and people will be like, it'll look like plankton. And it'll be like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like we will find genuine, scientifically valid something at some point, but it'll look like, something like, oh, look at this plankton thing under a microscope, and we found it in like a Mars well deep underground. And no one will care. That's the sad thing. They don't care about the real science of it. They want an ET spaceship thing with like, big googly eye. That's not likely what we're going to find.
So on to a more serious story. There was a AI forum in the U.S. Senate hosted by Senator Schumer that featured pretty much a who's who of tech, including Bill Gates and Sam Altman, but Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, Jensen Huang. I don't know who wasn't there. I guess Tim Cook wasn't there from Apple, but it's interesting because a similar meeting took place at the White House 6 weeks ago, and they formed a toothless organization called the Frontier Model Forum. I guess it hasn't been built yet, but that's supposedly a self-imposed regulatory body that would monitor the development of AI and, I guess, somehow enforce some rules.
Well, this thing, certainly got mainstream news. I watched CNN coverage of it. It wasn't just in the trades. It felt like a little bit like they just sort of did the guest list for the Sun Valley conference and brought him to Washington. Right? It's like pretty sort of almost comical. And I think the best piece of comment I heard about it, commentary, was it's very much fox in the henhouse disease, right? It's all of the guys that have a dog or many dogs in the hunt, or they're billionaire or multi-billion-dollar bet dogs in the hunt, trying to protect humanity. And it is the fox in the henhouse, right? That's the best way to describe it. It's like, well, yeah, I get it.
No, it's the fox explaining why everything is fine in the henhouse.
Exactly. Right.
So I don't know. I mean, it feels
and they're going to be that the ones that own it are going to be the great protectors, right? And that's of
course. Well, let's stop development for everyone else,
right. Or slow it down. Yeah.
I look there. We can go on about this for hours, but here's what I just want to pick up on Ted's fox in the henhouse. What really is needed is a group of people that are not with a deep vested interest in shaping the government's regulatory mind at what they really want. And I think it's like it sounds very cynical, but like a lot of these folks think the government are just people have no idea what they're doing, right? And they could just run rings around them, and this is like a piece of cake, like LeBron playing basketball against like middle school kids. And unfortunately, it is like the U.S. government does not have enough people who have that kind of AI power to stand up against that group that went there, and that group's telling them this is what we need to do, and that's fine, but that's not right. What the government needs is like a brain trust of people who are not those folks, who really understand AI and who can actually put in regulations to protect the future, both this country and the world, from like the misuse, right? Like this happened in FAA, this happened in medical devices. There's industries that are regulated, and you can't have the Fox do it, right? And unfortunately, when you look at the history of like why do we have aircraft, airplane, automotive, medtech, regulations? Because a lot of people died before they did it. And what we don't want to have happen is those events where really bad Chernobyl like things happen with AI. We just want to avoid that. So unfortunately, like the government usually doesn't react until there's a Chernobyl. Yeah. Right. But you can't have the nuclear reactor designers being the ones coming up with the regulations, right? They should be part of it. But you need like folks on the other side that are very objective, that are looking at this clear-eyed, not in a panicky way, just building up strong regs like you do for medtech, like you do for the FAA. And not allow that amount of bias to sort of corrupt the process. So it is a bit it's heartening that it's happening, but disheartening the way it's happening. I don't know if anyone from the U.S. government's listening to us, but like, guys, we need to do a little better on this.
So let's speed up and hit just two more stories, but related. Stability AI, a company we haven't talked about enough, probably, just launched Stability Audio. So now you can generate a soundtrack, up to a 90-second soundtrack, for a subscription fee. So this is going to be a web-based subscription, no more open source. I think the company has experienced a lot of both positive and negative feedback over having no business plan. So it sounds like they're now kind of moving in that direction. I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen their last open source model. But nonetheless, what do you guys think? Is Stable Audio going to be as big as Stable Diffusion?
I mean, all these are pieces of a very large research and development project of humanity, right? Like, what are you going to use? How are you going to use it? I think the important part about this is less about the raw technology. There's a whole bunch of companies experimenting with using AI audio, to duplicate voices and build soundtracks and do all this stuff. That's already kind of hyper competitive space. The question is, to your comments, Charlie, where is the business model? Is the business model viable? Who's going to pay for it? I mean, Google proved that the ad model was the profitability for search model, that people didn't want to pay to be on the internet and search things, that they would be more than happy to let their data be the product, right? And sort of drive it in that fashion. The question is, with the power of AI, is humanity going to be the dynamic that will let the product, let us be the product again, right? And that's really problematic.
Charlie, I think we have a decade of churn and chaos here.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great way to put it.
And then I think in the 2030s, you'll have like winners and the losers will be piled on the side of the road. Yeah. I think what's happening is investors are throwing money at everything. And for folks listening who don't understand why there are tens of billions, hundreds of billions being thrown, because they see a tens of trillions of dollars economic transformation. It's that big. Yeah. So the amount of money they're putting in is like 1,000th. Even it's the many billions, like 1,000th of the economic change they think is going to happen.
They're not going to miss the internet this time.
No.
So here's two kind of quasi funny stories. First of all, Anna Mocha just invested $20 million in the Mochaverse. Supposedly Yatsu is behind it personally as well. It's a NFT collection that would allow on-chain identities for the token holders and allow participation in the Mochaverse ecosystem with the Mocha ID. It's a very, very Web3, but $20 million is still a lot of money. And so Anna Mocha, whose investments have been just crushed in the crypto correction, is still going at it and still has some resources. So
Feels a little dollar late, doesn't it? Feels a little day late, dollar late, kind of like that ship has sailed and crashed on the rocks already pretty significantly. But, can you guys find another example where someone comes in so late to the party and actually turns this really interesting corner and like, oh, well, now it works,
Well, can I just pile on that really quick? Yeah. Let's just, I'm going to do one of these jumping off the ropes with Charlie, just going like this. Look, I think we went from a very weird moment where a Beeple sells a JPEG for 69 million and Bored Apes sell for $1 million, 2 million, 3 million a JPEG, to within a year, one of my friends, David Holtz at Midjourney, spitting out infinite plenty of anything you want in JPEG or TIFF form infinitely at near zero cost, and just completely devastates the idea that you can create scarcity in the digital domain. There's scarcity in the physical world, at least on Earth, until we explore space. But the idea that scarcity in digital means anything, I think like AI is blowing that up left and right. I think the AI monster came and ate the fragile scarcity, the fake digital scarcity monster. It keeps coming back because people want it to be true, but it's, can I say bullshit on the thing? It's bullshit.
Of course.
Whereas the infinite plenty is not. The fact that AI could spit out infinite images forever, and it will, and it's going to get better and better at it, or infinite audio, or infinite, it's basically going, nothing is scarce in the digital world, nothing at all.
All right, last story. Anna's in the waiting room. Apparently, IVAS has been given another stay of execution. This project has 9 lives. I don't know how it's ever going to work, but apparently they had a field test in which the Marines did not say it was going to get them killed. So I guess we'll keep following along and see. But Microsoft has not been talking about the HoloLens a whole lot lately.
Yeah. So, Charlie, any insights as to what this military grade device will look like? Because the modified HoloLens clearly wasn't what they wanted, right? So and the HoloLens itself seems to not have that particular HoloLens 2 product doesn't seem to have a hardware future. So nothing yet.
Can I just enter, because I know way too much about this, including what's happening now. I'll say this. The government greatly reduced the award it is giving Microsoft. But the need for some group of companies to build it for them, I think it's not only going to be Microsoft. And I think there's a lot of companies trying to make this work because the folks who need it really badly need it. And unfortunately, what they got early on wasn't what they really needed. But I don't think it's going to stop. But don't think of it as a Microsoft only delivery. I think there's a number of players who are actively working on it to really deliver something that the guys who put themselves at risk every day for the US, they really need this. So it's sort of a shame that it's taken so many years of stumbling, but I hope Microsoft and the other players really do get it right. Because if I spend time with those guys who need it, you just feel terrible for them. And it's like taking so many years to give it to them,
I will say this, because I wrote a story about this 2 years ago, maybe. But I did get to talk to a general and some of the regular, engineering people who are working on the project with Microsoft, and they're really down. I mean, they are big believers, and they had no reason to lie to me. I mean, I think they were very passionate about it and thought it would work. So they do have advocates and true believers in this project inside of the military and the Pentagon. So, by the way, I mean, military's first adopters, guys in the military, men, women, they love gadgets. They love stuff. So, there is a rationale for doing this. But I think it's when you take it out under combat conditions, where it really has to perform flawlessly, otherwise you get killed. I think that's very hard for computer technology. Forget about the spatial computing part. So, but obviously the wearables are getting, the sat phones, all of that technology has been getting just better and better. Night vision, you gotta figure it's going to come together in one wearable. It just makes so much sense. You could identify friendlies, and there's just all sorts of great applications. You could have an eagle's bird's eye view of the battlefield. I agree. There's a huge need for it, but I think the challenges are also, I think I've said this before, that's a lot of technology to put in one device. They could have started with assisted reality and gotten pretty far until the technology would allow them to, throw it up in your field of view all the time. My 3 cents on that one, but it's a great story. I'm glad to see it's going to keep coming. Let's bring in Anna. Anna is a founder and CEO, and she, as I said in the introduction, is a CEO's CEO. I mean, Anna sees me or some other influential person or potential partner or customer. She is standing next to them in a flash. Completely unafraid to put herself out there. That's why I love her so much. Anna, welcome and thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, hi everyone.
I don't know. You've met Ted, I think, and of course Roni needs no introduction. But
great to meet you. Great to meet you, Anna.
Likewise.
So where are you right now?
Now in LA.
So are you in a hotel, friend's house? Looks like might be a hotel.
No, it's like a friend's house.
Ted has got hotel going.
Yeah, I've got a hotel this week. I'm up in Northern California this week.
Anna, your company is in Northern California?
Yeah, so usually we are Bay Area, but I have some business to you in LA. So and you catch me where?
So my class just did a project. I had them use my web AR. Which
exactly.
Yeah, so it was really fun. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that when it launched and how it's doing?
Yeah, with pleasure.
Let me start like a little story why we started to do it, because it makes sense. And as you know, I started to work in augmented reality since 2015, like one of the early adapter. And we always trying to find a way how we can make AR like a technology available for everyone, not only just from the tech people, but also for usual consumer and business, because we truly believe that augmented reality is a technology that definitely change a lot of in our everyday lives. So, and our first venture was to create some products for children with AR. It's a book when you can open and scan a page and see how dinosaurs comes to life. So we sold 13 million copies worldwide, and now it's selling in 74 countries and 27 languages. And when I saw it, I understood what we can make the tool or way how people can do it from their business itself. And it's just like one of the factors why we launched our platform, MyWebAR. But in a high level, it's a no-code platform that allows to create any AR experience without technical skills. Charlie, you can postpone this. It's like virtual technology that allows me from every Zoom call, but you can just deny it.
No. It's perfectly fine. I have an AI assistant following me around transcribing conversations as well. I find it unbelievably useful.
Yes.
I see you're using Otterpilot, which I've not heard of. I use Firefly's AI, but definitely recommend it, and it's absolutely welcome in our conversation. But I think it's topical because you have added some AI elements to my web AR, right?
Yeah, because so generally, like in a high level, we believe that augmented reality, it's like a supervision for human. Imagine that you can see a world but never exist, and you can change everything using technology. And of course, AI and AR, it's a two technology that can help you in it. And it's not only about the creation or using it like for business or products or create something for yourself. It's also about safety. It's also about how we can change the world. And so generally, our platform allows to create, again, so any AR experience without technical skills. I'm not a programmer. I don't know how code, but I can create any AR experience just only 2 minutes. And it's perfectly fine for business or people who never tried to do it. The second, yes, you mentioned that we used generative technology, and yeah, it's one of our challenge, because I truly believe that we can make programming process very simple, but also we need to make creation process also very simple. And for example, today we use our technology text to 3D, when you can create a whole 3D model, just only text prompts. Of course, it's just like a first way, and in the future, it will develop more and more. But today, you can't imagine what people ask AI to create like on a 3D model. And sometimes it's really surprising. But generally today, our users can use this technology for creating some props or some environment or something from their 3D project. And you can make it just like only 2 minutes. And for me, it's incredible because I remember a time when we need to have like 3 or 6 months and a whole team of designers and programmers to create just one product with AR. Now you just need your imagination, and 10 minutes from your laptop.
So what Anna's talking about, you can try it yourself. You just go to mywebar.com. It kind of looks like you're spelling mywebar.com for those in America. But type in that domain name and you'll get examples and demos and trials. I'm curious, Anna, can you tell us a little bit about the evolution of the company? How big is the company? How are you generating revenue for the company? Give our listeners sort of a sense of, we were talking at the beginning of the show about the relentless entrepreneur of which you identify with, and that you've been in this for a while, you're fighting the good fight, you're achieving some really good objectives. But let us know, kind of, give us a little background on the company and where it started, how big it is, how you're doing.
Okay, so first I think our main background and our main value is our passion for AR. We are a little crazy about it, and I can talk about it hours. But so my team is really passionate about computer vision technology, and from another hand, how to explain it and make it like available for usual people. And my team, we worked like from a different sides. We understand the technology, but we also understand if we go into a walk or go into a street and ask a usual people, do you know what is it and how it works? We need to make it accessible for them. So my team is about now 40 people who works directly about the platform. We have a lot of engineers with deeply technologies in computer vision, generative AR, and others. My second team continue works from the products with books for augmented reality, because it's really care when you see how millions of children in the world can go to the space. So it just like for me. But yeah, so we are profitable, we generative, we are growing very fast. Like we need just only 1 year to be one of the 2 most popular web AR platform in the world. And we continue growing. Today, among our customers and users, big companies like Google, Colgate, McDonald's, different brands, NASDAQ, Wix, but also a lot of small and medium businesses. And now what's curious, about 70% of our users didn't have any experience with augmented reality before. It means that we're looking some solution, but they didn't have the opportunity to use some professional programming tools. They need to try to find something they can do it themselves. Because imagine that you are like a small bakery on the main street and you want to add augmented reality for your menu. How you can do it if you don't have any skills or special team?
Right.
I remember when I met you in 2017. I said to you I was doing an augmented reality, an AR enabled book, and you said, "Oh, I've got AR enabled books," and she whips out like 3 or 4 kids' books that you would use with a mobile phone. And see, animation and other stuff would pop up out of the pages. So I thought that was very funny, and I also thought that Devar, which at the time was not very well known, was actually way ahead of everybody, producing these AI. And of course, now Lego and everybody has AI instructions on their, commercial packaging. But, back then in 2015, I don't think people were taking the camera as seriously as they are now.
Yeah.
So it was, It's a great question, because from my side, I saw the whole journey from the people, like how different consumers change their patterns of behavior to use AR in everyday life. Because, for example, a lot of people use it like from the social media, like Snapchat or Instagram. We do some filters or mask, and people sometimes didn't understand that it's AR. But from another hand, I saw a lot of examples when business, like different companies in the different industries, start to create AR like a part of their products, because they understand how they can make it more available or more helpful for their users. Like, it's not just only about the books, it's also like about t-shirts, postcards, packaging. It's okay, it's a great example, and a lot of people do it, but mostly from marketing campaigns. But for me, the best example, when people started to create something, we call it phygital, like physical product and digital component with AR. Because we all understand that in the future, really soon, we will have AR glasses. And it will change how we interact with the world. And if I have AR glasses and see around, I want to see a lot of AR content around me, just like very seamless. And we will understand like what we see, we can change it, but also imagine that you see on the table and you have a book or postcard or photo from your vacation, and you just look and see something in the yard, and it will be amazing.
Anna, what do you think is limiting people from adopting AR glasses now? Do you have a view in mind of size, shape, weight, price point, quality? Like what in your mind is limiting that from being? I mean, it's used in focal sectors like more enterprise, military, things like that. But what's stopping people from widely using what's there now, and what do you need it to become?
It's a good question. I think the first from the consumer market is design, because when people want to like add something from our head, we would like to be stylish, and it's not easy. I understand maybe it's like a little stupid reason, sorry, but really people want to have something easy from their glasses. And it's like a phone, because now we can put it in our hand, and it's really easy for us. We understand. But remember, like 10 years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, people didn't have a mobile phone. It also was something new. I think when we will have, I understand, when we will have AR glasses and people will try it and see how it's convenient, how it's safety, how it's comfortable, we will change our consumers' behavior. The main question for me, it's not only about wearable, it's also about people need to understand what we will do with AR glasses. And in this case, now we are on the stage when we can all together educate the consumer market to explain them what is augmented reality technology and how we can use it in the everyday life. Because it's like two sides from one game.
And I think you're bringing up a very important point, because in all of computing, it needed to progress to stylishness, but all the way through, there were bigger and bigger audiences using it because it wasn't on your face. But if you're describing, let's say, the key objective for consumer adoption is to look cool, but also do what really good AR tech is supposed to do, then to have what the Apple Vision Pro is claiming to be able to do in something like this, we're basically talking about, no wire, runs all day, 100-degree field of view, 6K resolution, no headaches, perfect wireless, all the kind of things like your phone does, but perfected here. Mm-hmm. We're in the 2030s. And I think you can actually get a lot of what you described today from like the Apple Vision Pro, the Magic Leap 2, but it isn't, you still have a cable, you have other things going on, but the stylishness you're talking about, there's probably another 50 billion or 100 billion in investment needed to compress all the components to get to that all-day battery, all the optics perfect, to get to what you're describing. So, what's your take on that?
So I hope we will have it soon, by the way.
Sooner.
Soon, because so I know it's like a little fantasy. It sounds like a little fantasy. I understand that it's a really hard question how to make the real strong device like in smaller and capable, but we understand that it's definitely will do. And it's a big challenge, of course. And the whole market should to have opportunity to solve different challenges on this journey. But I hope we will have it because technology is really rapidly market, and tomorrow we can see what we can't imagine yesterday.
Yeah.
And
But Anna, like what you're describing, like Snap went for cool and small, but 20-degree field of view and the battery lasts 30 minutes. And on the other extreme, Apple went for 4K resolution, 110, 120-degree field of view, very rich graphics and computing. You want what Apple's doing in something smaller than the Snap form factor, which everybody wants, right? But I'm just looking at the disparity of some people went for the fashion, but they have none of the functionality that you really want and what's exciting about AR. So what do you think wins in the interim? Is it people accepting fashion with much less capability, or are they willing to wear something bigger but get the full capability?
It's like a question what people want to have today, like for example, expensive iPhone with different technology and make stylish, or like more cheaper Android with also maybe stylish but very cheaper from their budget, right? I think we will have a different type of devices because it's also about people. Because for example, who want to pay for quality and stylish? We are looking always device that we can for them. Who want to use like small budget and can use less quality, it's also okay. But my personal opinion, I think that Apple, like a company who every time make devices stylish and fashion and really useful, we'll find a way how we can do it. Maybe it's not like in first Apple Vision Pro, of course, but Apple Vision Pro now just like a first step. And the main goal is educate the people how you use augmented reality. In the area we'll understand like collaboration, entertainment, and something. But next, more and more. Do you remember? Of course, you remember like your first iPhone, and how you can compare from the latest. It's a big difference. I think we will see the same, and let's see what the other players can suggest.
I think the one thing I would disagree with is I don't think we are going to be seeing consumer glasses that people wear for anything other than special purposes, just sort of casually wear consumer AR glasses. I still think we're years away from that. And certainly the Apple Vision Pro has many things about it which are promising. They're not all entirely new. They've obviously did what they've always done, which is they packaged them up in a way that is sort of slicker and more ergonomic, but it's going to be a while before they're affordable and before people see the benefits of using them, which leaves us in mobile AR for another 5+ years. And mobile AR is growing, and mobile AR has 700 million monthly uniques just in Snapchat. But there are 4 billion phones that are capable of using the camera to combine, as you say, phygital, the digital and the physical world. And everybody has got a smartphone. The other thing that happened, one of the benefits of the pandemic, and obviously there were many, and there were many very problematic things, to say nothing of the health problems it created, but it created a new relationship with our devices, or a deepened relationship with our devices, and an understanding of what a QR code is.
Right.
And the change in attitude toward a QR code, and I probably should write about this because I think it's sort of undetected but super important, because what AR has always needed in a world painted with data, and this is why I think AI can be so important for XR. In a world painted with data, you have to know what data is present and relevant to you. Because if it's interrupting you all the time, it's a total nightmare. And it's going to interrupt you with irrelevant information. Nobody wants that. So instead, it's going to know what you're doing and what information is locally available. And that is, I believe, going to be, in part at least, QR code related. Oh, this place is AR enabled, right? I mean, you get, oh, here's a QR code that might be relevant to you. So I think the QR code, will continue to grow, but there was such, because every restaurant and food stand in the world changed from paper menus to using QR codes, using the camera. I think it's really conditioned people now to look for that. So if you see the QR code on a consumer product, you're like, oh, let me grab my phone and see what else this thing is going to tell me. So, you can walk through a mall and see QR codes and be like, oh, I like these clothes, and hold up your phone, and all of a sudden there's a whole nother world. Obviously a goldmine for marketers, who I guess are a big part of your audience, right? I think your audience is interesting. I think the last time we talked, if you don't mind sharing some of the statistics, it's really, my web AR is large.
Yeah.
And it's people that we don't talk to, right? It's like teachers and local marketers, and as you mentioned before, small businesses and people who suddenly can take advantage of this technology, and with the QR code say to people, hey, I've got AR, I've got more content, which I think must be helping you a lot at this point.
Yes, exactly. And it's also about how to change the consumer behavior. But I agree and a little disagree with you. Sorry. AR and AI today, it's so I see it's like a level by level how people will understand how they can use it. But imagine the ideal point. So what is computer vision? It's for us, it's like a technology. It's going to be like analog autopilot of Tesla. And when you combine with AI, you can get incredible results. Imagine in the future, you have AR glasses and you stay in the crosswalk. And you try to go, but system will tell you, stop, because the car from the corner will not stop. And it's not only about entertainment or see a menu or something, it's about our safety. And but people will need to see how it works. And after that, we will see incredible changes. But I agree with you that today, we educate the market and show them how they can use AR, not only just for fun or just for entertainment, but also for business, and how we can make a really great example. So, it's so funny, because the first time when I saw it, when the children started to use AR books, and it's so fun, so emotional. But when afterward, parents will give them like the standard book, like traditional book, but children saw it's wrong, it doesn't work. and yes, and it's true, and it's so fun from one hand, and so from another hand, I understand that all make, like, when things around us can be more helpful, why we need to reject it?
Yeah, that's that same metaphor of the kids with the TVs, constantly going up to the TV and touching it and expecting it to do things, and when it doesn't, it's broken in their mind, right? Because they grew up on iPads and iOS devices and Android devices that constantly do that. So if it's a screen, it has to have that capability. So you're making sort of the next leap.
Yeah, and also what is our customers now from the different industries, because we are not like in a vertical SaaS. We are working from the different industries. We have universities, we have teachers, we have marketings, small businesses, so different. And it's interesting that For example, one of the company who starting to work in Germany, they produced also digital product, but postcard with AR. And we started just from only 10 postcard the last year. But afterward, we have a line more than 200 AR postcards and sold from all magazines and shops in Germany. And for me, it means that people not just only starting to do something new, but we're also growing with us and growing with AR technology. And I think that this is the main power, because when business will see and understand how it can make from where more scalable, more successful, it will be combined with consumer new patterns of behavior, and we will see the next level.
I'm curious if you know the answer to this question on your platform, because obviously you're out there, you've been out there for a while, you're multi-platform, right? So you're on iOS, you're on Android, you're on, I presume, PC and Mac OS, right? So you kind of cover the spectrum. What is the percentage of, I presume mobile has become the predominant platform, but tell us if it's not. And between Android and iOS, who is using the product more? Do you have sort of percentages of where you know what platform people are using your web AR system and how they're building stuff? What OS and devices are they using it?
So because from the usual side, like from our users, like creator side, people mostly use it on a laptop, of course, because it's just more convenient. Because it's like a Canva or Wix. You don't create your website on mobile, but you usually work from the laptop. And of course, a lot of people usually use it from the laptop. Regarding iOS and Android, I don't remember, honestly, like a direct figures. But for example, I understand we have a different audience. So the educational audience mostly use it on the Android, like a Chromebook and others, because this is equipment on the schools. But others, it's like a little same. I think it's equal, yeah.
So Anna, we need to wrap up, but it's been great having you here as a guest. Parting shot, anything you want people to know about Devar? Let's share it before we go off this week.
So I can say that our passion and our desire to make AR and AI technology really helpful and available for people and from their businesses. And we have a huge experience from both sides, from the traditional markets and from the technology markets. And if everyone would like to see how it works and how to make it really helpful today and build with us a new amazing world, just come in.
Thanks, Anna. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with you next Friday.
Thank you.